Welcome to it on a Wednesday. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We're live at Tanner's. We'll be here till 6 o'clock. Of course, these days are special. We get an hour with the man, and then Jay and I try to hold it down after he set it on fire, and then we do our thing. 402-464-5685. Start a Hammond text line, Honda Lincoln Hotline. If you guys want to join the conversation, you want to add to, please do. Jay Foreman, the video stream is up. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter Live, so they have every opportunity and way to see. They can see the great, Husker Hall of Famer. But I'll ask you to be a Hall of Famer. Tell them about the Mercado.
The Mercado certified Piedmontese special ingredients and butcher shop located at 84th and Havelock. Phenomenal appetizer meal or appetizer menu, entree menu, dessert menu. They have a butcher shop with also take-home meals, pasta, seafood, their own spices, every type of meat and every type of cut you want. So it's the place to be, man.
Yeah, got to get it done. We will be down here until 6. And here's the thing, before we bring in our special guest, you have the 2 hours to get here and register for, drum roll, a signed Johnny Rodgers jersey.
Johnny the Jet.
Like, we went big for this one. We went big
Johnny
for this
the Jet had a significant role in making college football what it is today. Part of the greatest game ever, the game of the century, and got all the TV networks like, man, this college football thing is pretty exciting.
Man, Thanksgiving Day, Huskers, Sooners.
Again, the dead leg has withstood the test of time. I'm telling you, the Armageddon could happen. They start playing football again. The dead leg will be just naturally with somebody.
Somebody will be in space. A couple of things happening here. It's the all-day Boogamania. $8.99 for the half-pound burger with a side. You can get 20-ounce Blue Moon drafts for $5. Again, you're going to come in and register. Somebody today will leave and have possession of the signed Johnny Rodgers jersey. So all you have to do is get down here, put your name in the box, and we will take care of it. Let's bring in our special guest, Husker Online, Sean Callahan. Kind sir, what's happening?
Not much. I was thinking about that Mercado beef. I had some brisket from there. I brought home from their little grab and go.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal brisket. Like we had it last night for dinner. I'm not joking. And
yeah, it's really good, man.
Cut it up for some sandwiches. My daughters love. I love the Mercado.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. I think it's one of those places that when you go, it's kind of like a golfer going into a golf shop or anything like that. You just every time you go, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get something else.
And it's relatively inexpensive, compared to like what you're gonna pay at the other stores now. I mean, it's for what you're getting, it's a great place.
Yeah, it is.
You were getting me thinking about that brisket last night.
Man, we went in. They gave us a care package last time we were out there, and I just have to say, the hickory bacon is just unfair. Like, it's just unfair. And so, if you're looking for something, head your way on out there. Sean, it's an interesting week because as the opportunities pop up for this Huskers team and for the Huskers program, Huskers players, Huskers coaches, everybody is in audition mode. Everybody in full audition mode. What's story one? What's priority one for Nebraska as they head to West Lafayette?
I think priority one is they've got to figure out a plan that protects this offensive line. They really rolled the dice with how they played last week. You're not going to win very many games with protection and run blocking the way it kind of came together. Raiola needs to do a better job with that group, but I think Whipple needs to probably protect that group and come up with a plan. Because Casey Thompson, if that game happens 6 more times, we ain't going to see Casey Thompson 6 more times on Saturdays for Nebraska. And the most amazing stat, and Mark Whipple joked about this today lightheartedly, that he goes, the amazing stat was he was only sacked once. And that's tells you stats don't tell the whole story there, because that felt like much more than one sack with the number of pressures and hits that he took. And I don't know what that plan is, guys, what you got to do, but they can't have a game like that again with the offensive line. And the scary thing is they're going to see better teams than Rutgers up front the next, 2 months.
Sean, when you talk about the offensive line, I mean, obviously Rutgers was probably their worst game of the year. They've played some consistent games and been pretty decent. So when you take a step, I guess, to the side outside of the program, and you think about offensive line, period, and you think about what needs to happen for the rest of the season, and then obviously next year, regardless of who the coach is, in your opinion, how do you? It's not going to be a fix by next year, but how do you have tangible, clear improvement by the end of this year, primarily this week, and then next year? Because is it develop the guys on the roster, transfer portal? You can't depend on some 18-year-old kid. We've seen what that happens with that, right? You might be ready, but realistic, you're not ready. So in your opinion, how do you do it? Or is it a combination of all three?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything you just said, but let's start this year. I think you got to look at a couple things. Can you move Turner Corcoran back to guard? And if you do,
who are you going to put out there?
Brant Banks. Could you put somebody else at left tackle?
Anybody.
I think Corcoran at guard is a better picture. Anthony Benhart, they've been kind of rotating the right side a little bit the last few weeks, but going forward, they've got to get Prohaska back healthy at left tackle. That's priority one. And Nuri Noel has got to come back in there. To me, those were their two best offensive linemen, and they're playing without those two guys. Kevin Williams out. I feel like when they built the offseason roster, they did miss on the offensive line.
They didn't recruit. They didn't allow Coach Rayola to go and recruit.
No, and you're right. And
so that has nothing to do with him. And that's on the powers that were
before.
At beat, right?
And Greg Austin, as we know, didn't recruit very much. I mean, he didn't bring any guys in last year on that offensive line. And Hunter Anthony was taken as a commit by Eric Chenander, not Raiola. Kevin Williams was taken as a commit because of the connection with Mickey Joseph. I think there was a connection to Kevin Sr. and Mickey, and that kind of led to one thing or another. And all of a sudden, he was a commit. Then they took the kid out of New Jersey who doesn't look like an offensive lineman. He looks more like a D lineman. So they struck out on O-line additions. When now in the world we live in, if you're trying to add linemen, you can't strike out. You've got to get somebody from the portal. And Hunter Anthony is playing now, but he didn't play significant snaps at Oklahoma State. He wasn't like a starter for Gundy. I mean, Gundy was cool with him leaving. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but they needed to get a true impact guy in the portal, and they didn't get one on the O-line.
I fall in this space that if you swung and miss as a program, now you're making decisions on the move, right? It's last minute. You're desperate. Moving Corcoran inside. Look, if he misses at left tackle, there's a runaround.
Well, he started out at left guard.
Hold on. Let's pump the brakes here. Okay, let's pump the brakes. Okay,
I got a double pump.
Pump the brake. You see, you hear me up there, right? I hear you, right? Pump him here. Okay, he's been playing guard, and then he played one game at left tackle. And his worst play is when it must have been flipping the offensive line. He was playing right tackle, the one where he just forgot to block the dude that crossed his face. Right,
he did that twice.
Right, but they both were at right tackle. So think what I just said here. Okay, left guard, left tackle, worst two plays at right tackle. There's a common denominator there that has nothing to do with the player. And I'm not here. I never make excuses for players. Okay, because I'm a firm believer. If you're on Division I scholarship, right, you're a Power 5 player. At some point in time, you got to figure it out. Okay, am I in agreement here? Because there's an old button that you push. I'm tired of getting my butt kicked.
And it's not a physicality thing.
No, but you're asking somebody to kick step left. Well, first of all, short set guard, kick step left tackle, kick step right tackle. Anthony Munoz, Jonathan. That's something that they do roll out of bed right now. It's confusing. It's confusing even when I told you, because I see it on your face. You know what I'm saying? You're asking somebody to do all different types of things in the element of a game with no help.
Nobody should be getting beat on the outside as bad as Nebraska is right now.
Agree.
Like I've never seen this before, and we've seen.
Oh, you saw it last year.
You
saw it last year, and you saw it the year before. My whole thing is, this is what I want to ask you. How do we recruit all these linemen? Okay, I've been back in Nebraska since 2010. So what was that, 12 years? Okay, for 12 years. Okay, so that's what, 3 coaches? There's Bo, Nice Mike, Frost, right? Grandpa Mike, I won't do it. Nice Mike. 3 coaches. So for all 3 coaches that have been recruiting offensive linemen, how all of a sudden they come to Lincoln and can't play?
And you think about the first line Frost had. They had Hymas and Farniak at tackle, NFL. They had Farmer, who got into a camp at least, and they had Foster, who made a practice squad. I mean, they had 4 legit dudes, and then Juergens was coming up the ranks. They're developing him behind the scenes, so they had guys, and now
they're all Nice Mike guys. They're all Nice Mike recruits,
and they haven't brought in anybody. I mean, Greg didn't bring in anybody, and Juergens was a tight end that they converted to an O lineman.
But do you think the reluctance to actually be physical has hurt the development? And I'm talking about physical in practice and how you lift and all that stuff.
It's confusing because we were told that the new style that Raiola brought.
Hold on, no, this isn't real. This is 4 years of
just bad training.
Okay, I'm talking about when Frost was here. The reluctance to be physical for 4 years,
just to keep guys healthy on Saturdays, or
right?
4 Saturdays,
right?
That was kind of the plan, right? I mean,
well, whatever. That's hurt the development because you can't ask a coach to get here when he get hired, like January,
December.
Okay, December, January, same thing, right? Tomato. So you think he gonna fix the stuff and we ain't even been through a whole year? He only been here 9 months.
No, I agree. I mean, he inherited a very, very bad hand of cards, and then the Prohaska injury with the Noelle suspension just stacked on top of that, because Noelle was coming on, and Prohaska obviously before the first knee injury looked really good.
Do you think recruiting basketball players to play offensive line is an issue?
I think they recruited a body type, and they really believed that nutrition and strength and conditioning could make them into something, and then the coaching would get them there. And as we know, it hasn't worked. That plan of recruiting 6'9", 6'8", 260 with feeding them and lifting them up has not.
Where did that model? Where does that model ever work though?
Mike Leach, Texas Tech. I mean, they would do stuff like that in that offense where he would just recruit. But they had those like 20-yard line splits. It was a whole different system, and it's not the Big Ten. But I think they felt like, well, we're going to recruit the tallest, biggest humans, and then we're going to lift them up and feed them, and then they're going to become great players. And as we know, that model has not worked in recruiting athletes for Nebraska. I mean, you go back, Tanner Farmer and Gerald Foster were like 6'2", and they would run circles around these linemen. And that was Frost's first line.
Right. Yeah, okay, now let's just, now we all, we kind of, we peeled back the scab, man. So let's put some Neosporin and see how we can kind of try to do it. So in your opinion, I have my opinion, but in your opinion, I know what can be done in order to look better on Saturday, but in your opinion, what can be done in the meantime to kind of play like they did against Northwestern, or at times, I mean, you know what I mean? Obviously this is now, if we're 3 games in a row and everybody's just running in, it's like ollie oxen free to hit Casey, then yeah. But what can they do? I
think Whipple needs to get on the same page with everybody, and they need to rein some of the calls in a little bit. I don't think you can just drop Casey back without protection. Empty sets. You're really rolling the dice. If you see Casey Thompson going in empty, what do you think you're going to do on defense right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, if he goes empty, I probably feel comfortable as of right now that I can get home with 4. But if you continue to go empty, I'm going to make sure he doesn't finish the game.
Right.
So then I'm going to blitz, and you might complete the pass, but that will be your last pass of the night.
Well, and Greg Schiano, they kind of tried to knock Casey out of the game in the third quarter. They took that late hit right out of the locker room because Casey had gone out, comes back in. And I wouldn't be surprised if Schiano was like, I'm okay with that penalty. Let's see if this kid gets up. And I give Casey a lot of credit. He got hit. I mean, he got hit and he got hit, and he was pressured 26 of 38 dropbacks. 26 of 38.
It's been continuous all year. But see, I also think that, number one, I think if we could talk protection, but I think the best protection is to be more consistent in the run game, Right now, it would have been really good if we would have came out and got 14 points. I mean, we didn't score anything at half, like up until half. So, I'm assuming they didn't get off the bus thinking, okay, we're going to be down 13-0 at half. So I think really what we can do, play calling, sure, right? I think Whipple could get here and really get on the chalkboard and tell us why it could work, right? But in reality, it hasn't. But I think if you could get a true conventional run game, which you obviously need, to go, whether it's by formation or by obviously moving guys, then that kind of slows down the pass rush. When the problem that Nebraska ran into, in my opinion, was Rutgers. You weren't able to establish a true running game. You might pop a run here or there, then you might go 4 or 5 plays without a run play. You know what I'm saying? But in those 4 or 5 plays, you and DP already tagged off on Casey. And then when it came time to really run it, you're already playing on your heels. So if we can get some plays and then when you come to protection, you might have to mix in half line slide protection, full slide protection, maybe run a couple 2-man routes, maybe get out on the edge a little bit, to kind of throw. A lot of times what people don't understand about protection from a defensive standpoint. Now, granted, execution, you got to be able to execute those. So in theory, if you can execute those, you can put us on your heels as a defender, because a lot of times the protection of Nebraska was the same protection all game long. So when we're coming to the sideline, say if you're a defensive coordinator and you say, Jay, what do you see now? Well, it's man protection, right? So come one, come all. But if say, hey, well, there's 2 passes, what'd you see? Well, we had slide protection, or we had half slide or full turn. Well, then that changes up, and then you come with man protection, then that changes up the blitz that we can run, or we'll get home. So I think if you can really sit back and kind of, like you said, get on the same page and understanding, probably playing a little bit more steady early, you know what I mean? To kind of really put the onus back on them to make a play.
Go back to the North Dakota game when they really took that game over third, fourth quarter,
right,
with that physical run. I'm not seeing those plays anymore.
No.
And let's go back to really what that was. Scott Frost thrusting his influence on the offense, and now Frost is obviously gone, and Whipple has full reign.
Right.
So, yeah, I just think there's probably some philosophical disagreements right now within that coaching room of what they should be doing. And Whipple's calling the shots. He's the offensive coordinator.
Right.
Mickey's giving him the respect to do his thing, but without Frost overseeing some of those things, I think they've slipped in a few key areas.
I think the first half against North Dakota, the whole team looked hungover or like jet lag
from that record from the Ireland.
For Ireland. And then it was like a little bit of hard talks at halftime, and everybody woke up along with the nudge, I guess, tongue in cheek, run the ball, right? And because we weren't passing very well, and plus the pressure was on. I mean, let's be honest. I think they can get there. I think sometimes, and this is from a defensive perspective, Indiana, and even Purdue, I love playing against those teams. Because after the first or second quarter, at the first quarter, you already know what they're going to do. Now we just got to play ball, right? Because they'll test your principles as far as in your coverage. You're not really worried about the run game. That's where Nebraska has to get away from, right? Don't be so predictable in being able to establish. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you want to throw a curveball at somebody, say it's like a 3rd or 4th and 1, why wouldn't you bring every offensive lineman that you have on the roster out there? Like kind of
jumbo.
Well, Brett Bielema did it against Penn State. Remember, they had Brown in the backfield, quarterback, and it was all offensive linemen. You get what I'm saying?
You just say
it's not only throwing them a curveball, it's establishing it. Well, trying to establish an identity. You can still get stopped because somebody makes a great play, but it's also having a mentality.
You got to rep that a lot, though, don't you? I mean, you can't just throw that together.
Well, I'm sure. I'm assuming it's in a playbook, but wedge blocking. I mean, you're pretty much toe to toe, and we're going forward. We have to get 1 yard. Sean, that is how many feet are in a yard? 10.
When they go empty,
how many feet in a yard?
You notice I got out of the way of y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all do this.
I mean, we're just trying to get some answers here, man. You know, every time Sean
No,
comes out here, you
it-
probably feel like Jay Foreman be on me and stuff, man.
No, this is
no.
good.
I mean,
I work with Sipple every day, so
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like
We need to give you layup questions and you dealing with Sipple.
I understand that. We're
Oh,
live at
Cookie
Tanner's
Monster.
30th and Yankee Hill, Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman, Husker Online's Sean Callahan. I love the conversation because you two are meeting in the middle and covering everything. I still have questions about the identity of this team. Like, who are they offensively? What is their go-to play? What's the best thing they run? Who's the best player with the ball? How are they efforting to get him the ball on a regular and consistent basis so they can get the best?
Anthony,
runs?
the identity is two things.
Yeah, I think they're doing that. I think they're missing the foundation of it.
It's using Anthony Grant to set up Trey Palmer. I think that is like in a nutshell. And then you have the underneath game of Travis Vokalek. He is your guy underneath. You use
Deep game or secondary deep game with Washington, intermediate routes with Washington. You know, the people don't understand is like the amount of drops from last game that hurt your ability to pass protect as well. You get what I'm saying? When you're wide open and you drop the ball, that changes the concept of that changes the whole the flow of the game. We're not talking about 1 or 2 drops. We're talking about 4, 5, 6 drops. You get what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it where it's just not straight protection because you drop that ball, even say it's 2nd and 10. You drop a 6-yard route. It's 3rd and 10.
Then you really know they got to pass.
Exactly.
Well, and let's not forget that was really their first road game of the year. Ireland was like a home game with free beer served at it. I mean, it was wild, and this was a true road environment. They had loud music in. I told the guys this morning it sounded like a New Jersey nightclub in there. They had the music blaring.
Oh, they were all about the bass.
Oh yeah,
they were all about the bass.
You couldn't take a phone call anywhere in that stadium.
It was like Jersey Shore out there.
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh boy. And when they opened themselves out of the locker room, the Sopranos theme song is what they played. That's no joke. That's literally what they came out to was the Sopranos theme song. And I went, okay, this is serious. And the beer's flowing. It's going to happen.
Robin Washett played that in a rental car on the way into Newark.
It was just, and it was a blackout, but I was like, wait a minute, this is what they're wearing anyway. So it worked out perfectly. On the other side of the ball, defensively, do we know who this team is? What is their thing that they do better than anything else?
I think it's figuring out ways to move around that front four and let guys like Garrett Nelson, O'Shawn Mathis do their thing. And we even saw Colton Feast do his thing. I mean, that was the first time that group really got going like that, especially against a quality opponent. So I think Bill Bush, give him a lot of credit. Whatever he's done, he's simplified it enough. He's gotten guys lined up. They're tackling better, and he's infused confidence. When you see, guys that we never expected to be making plays, that's coaching. I mean, he for them to say, we're going to bench Tommy Hill for Malcolm Hartstug. We're going to bench our highest profile transfer portal defensive player, arguably one of them besides O'Shawn, from Arizona State, a 4-star guy that came in with a lot of hype for a freshman from Mississippi that if you rank the 33 newcomers that came in, he was probably bottom 3 or 4. That's confidence, that's coaching. And Hartstug has responded. Yeah, he's gotten beat, but anyone's going to get beat at that position. It's a cornerback position. But I like what they've done to kind of get some of these guys going now. I'm a little nervous about Newsome this week and obviously the Luke Reimer situation if they're going to be fully healthy, ready to go.
Well, I thought the message today was that he looked good. It'll be a day-to-day thing, but I kind of got the idea that they expect him to play.
Yeah, and then traveling, if you travel, that's a good sign because you can only take 74, and you're not going to just take a body that can't play. Yeah. So if those guys travel, good chance that we'll see him out there in some way.
Jay, have you played with that sort of chest injury? I mean, that at a linebacker position, that's a lot of punches to the chest.
Yeah, I played with it. I played with a hole in my rib or whatever. I think.
Wait a minute. Don't low key that. Like you just said a thing.
Yeah.
A hole in your rib.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, but I think it's all about learning how to play when you're hurt. And I think that's part of it is learning how you learn that in practice. You learn how to push yourself in practice. And it's what, it's all about checks and balance. You want to check your pain threshold, balance how much you need, how much practice you need versus how much you're doing. And so you're ready for the game in a sense of, from a mental standpoint. I played, downhill, but, we used our hands pretty well. But I also think the depth of Nebraska, whether it's Ernest Hausman, whether it's, Va Clemens or somebody like that is going to have to step up, or Heinrich's going to have to really play well in the passing game. And I think, they have flexibility if they don't have anything, you know what I mean? Because you could do something, and granted, this is just me just thinking out loud. You could possibly on a true against Purdue. Okay. It actually worked. It could work out well for Purdue. You could, I know Omar Brown had kind of played has been playing, some at nickel. So he could come down in nickel, and you could actually have Gifford kind of slide in.
Now he's kind of hurt though too, right? Omar Brown.
Yeah, but Brown, Javen Wright can come in and play a nickel slot corner, right? And then you can kind of bump Gifford in and kind of play like kind of a little bit of a hybrid type of linebacker, because this team is not a true downhill fit. They're not going to beat you by running the ball unless
they're on their third running
right. Unless you just don't tackle anybody and do all that type of stuff. So how they're going to beat you is they're going to formation you, route tree you to death, and test your principles and your communication. And if you have a good plan and do that, you can survive. And then the defensive line has to play well, and the guys that you're expecting to play well. Also, I don't mean to cut you off. Another caveat, if you've been seeing, is Caleb Tanner kind of being that move guy and kind of like moving around and spy sometimes. And be a late ad rusher. Well, that bodes well for Nebraska, because if you ask him to be a short area hook dropper or something like that, he already has the reps to do it, and he has the ability to do it. Now, is it to Luke Reimer to where he's feel comfortable and can make some pretty special plays? No, but this is what your captains are for. This is what your leadership's for. This is what you come to college for. You don't come to college and sit there and just wait around until they get handed a spot. Sometimes you got to jump up and compete when's needed, and that's what good teams are for. And I think that the simplicity of the system will help that.
Let's put a pin there. We'll come back to it, because I want to get into this point spread for a team that is finally finding some confidence and some ego and some swagger. They're going to go on the road, so a tough place, as a 2-touchdown underdog. We'll talk about that when we come back. We're live from Tanner's 30th in Yankee Hill. Be here till 6 o'clock. The signed Johnny Rodgers jersey's going home with somebody. Get here.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock, or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection, and sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And, of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure, there is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, all makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's premier store for men. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Windy and cooler here for our Wednesday with an afternoon high of around 70. Northwest winds could eventually gust over 30 by later this afternoon. Tonight mainly clear, a low dropping down to around 45. It will be windy again tomorrow. Northwest winds once again gusting to around 35 with a high of 64. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. We're live at Tanner's. It's old school on a Wednesday. Tanner's is down at 30th and Yankee Hill. The signed Johnny the Jet Rogers jersey is up. All you got to do, come put your name in the box. Real simple biz. We're sitting with the great Sean Callahan from Husker Online. Sean, you're close enough to the program and the people in it to understand the fragile level of confidence, right? Get a couple of wins, and it's an opportunity. And then you're walking straight into a road game in West Lafayette against a team with a 2-touchdown favorite. In your mind, how will this team respond?
Well, they need a better start. I mean, the start they had on the road at Rutgers, you're going to lose 9 out of 10 games. You know, that game should have been 21, 24, 27, nothing.
Easy. In
the first half.
Easy.
And I thought the Blaze Gunnarsson tackle on the blocked punt to keep it at 10-0 saved the game for Nebraska.
Big deal.
Kept it alive, but you know, it could have gone downhill quickly. So, you know, they were very fortunate to win. If they have a start like that, Aiden O'Connell is too good. He will pick Nebraska apart. Jeff Brom will pre-snap diagnose Nebraska apart. and you can't get down by two plus scores. These guys, they're just too good on offense, and Jeff Brom is too experienced to blow a game the way Rutgers blew the game last week.
Jay, let me ask you, where do you put O'Connell as a Big Ten quarterback? Is he top 5? Is he top 3? Where do you put him?
He's probably top 5. I think
he was second team All Big Ten last year.
Yeah, I think he started a little slow this year, which is understandable. I watched him twice, and then watched him really close when he came back after Minnesota. Was not as sharp as I expected. Now he's been connecting with his old high school teammate in Jones, which those two, that's a lethal 1-2 combination. But with that, with knowing that's the combination, then you can probably roll some coverage to him. So I think if we don't get any hits on him and we don't get him off of his spot, I mean, any quarterback's going to make you look bad. But yeah, him and Brom will eat you alive. They're going to complete passes. They're going to be able to make some plays. We just got to make sure that we don't continue to give them the same play and same look.
They're an old team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what they do with their route combinations, I think, makes O'Connell better than
he is. Yeah.
Than he is. Like, just from a skill set, I'm not overly impressed with him.
Yeah, I heard somebody say
route
he's not a 10-year quarterback.
Yeah,
his arm strength is average at best, but he's a good system quarterback, and that's what you expect. But at the end of the day, Brom has always found a way to develop receivers. Yeah, and it's partly his offense, but they have good coaches. And don't forget, don't sleep on their offensive line. I mean, they've quietly always kind of tried to punch Nebraska in the face.
Tight ends too. They have good tight ends there.
Right. Yeah. For the last 3 or 4 years, they had good tight ends. So that's an issue for Nebraska is the middle of the defense. And so Nebraska's going to play. Look, they're not going to play anybody that's not good. They just got to play to their capabilities. Now it can't be all on the defense. It can't be all on the offense. It can't all be on special teams. Everybody's got to step up and play.
When we look at film with Purdue, a couple of things in play. They're a different team on the road than they are at home. And for whatever reason, they call plays more conservatively when they're at home.
Yeah.
Right? They struggled in 2 of the 3 home games. Look, I understand as Sean said, they're talented at tight end. And that's what scares me. The run game for Purdue doesn't bother me. I think you'll be able to fit and get into space. My concern are the linebackers who want to jump into space and then allowing these 2 and 3 tight ends that Purdue uses to get on the seams and bust us up.
Yeah, I mean, I always think if you want to build an explosive offense, you get a really good tight end. Obviously, have the tight end be a focal point. I mean, we saw that even with Nebraska the first game. So when Vokalek got hurt, it changed the whole dynamics of the offense.
No doubt.
And so, they pose some threats, but, with that being said, guys got to step up and play. But I think it's got to be a 3, it's got to be a team effort. The offense has to play better. The defense has to continue to play good and play good and get some stops. They're going to have to win some third downs. They're going to have to, do some things. They're going to have to win a 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4 when it's Purdue's kind of maybe stop them from continue to get a touchdown. They got to do some things like that. I think we can have a distinct advantage in special teams. Purdue's special teams aren't very good, so I think we can win there. And so if you can do that, you can create some offense or help to keep your defense off the field. So I think it's right there for you. But one of the things I want to ask you, Sean, is Tommy Hill. First of all, it's a 2-thing question. IGC just first he said he wasn't leaving. Then now he's in the transfer portal, which is we all know was smokescreen. Then Tommy Hill it seemed like it was not even a big deal where he had a really, really bad game at Oklahoma, but then all of a sudden now he's playing receiver. How does that happen? And is it realistic for him to play wide receiver moving forward?
Yeah, that Tommy Hill picture at wide receiver, it's just maybe after the bye week. I can't imagine they're going to thrust him on the road at receiver a ton unless it's like a specialty package or play or two. But that Oklahoma game you mentioned, there's a cut of him and Mickey Joseph on the sideline, and Mickey was giving him the business. I mean, he was on him, and Tommy was yelling back. And you're right. I think things have kind of taken a turn ever since, what was it, the long run, or there was a play in the Oklahoma game where Sipple goes, Tommy Hill literally just got blocked out of the stadium, like on a play. And it was
deep
all
end zone, left side, north side of the stadium. The official even came to help Tommy.
I mean,
like he came to rescue. Remember we were talking about it?
It was like Michael Orr when he took that guy in the blind
That's
side.
exactly how I described it. Was that he really said he needed to go home. But I think the opportunity is there if he does a thing well, that you allow him to do that thing well. And the word is that he may be as good a deep route runner as Trey Palmer is. They say that Tommy Hill is just as good.
Yeah, he got good ball skills. I mean, he I think he got in the game. He got in against Rutgers, right?
Tommy?
Yeah.
No.
He was there warming up.
Yeah, warm up.
He's done special teams.
Yeah, well, that was special teams. And so
they only played 6 receivers in the Rutgers game and really only 4. I mean, Oliver Martin got like
Belt
the 4 starts. Belt no steps. Lever got 1 and Omar got 2. So they stuck with really just 4 receivers last game with Oliver Martin being the 4th guy.
I just want to know, how is it you have a talent like Omar Manning and you can't get him on?
He's hurt. I mean, he was on crutches after the game.
Constantly hurt.
Yeah,
right?
It's mental, it's physical. I mean, he's had off the bus, beautiful player, but on the field, it just hasn't. I mean, there's been moments that he's had, and I know Jay, we probably have your opinions there.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a ton of potential, but potential means you ain't done nothing yet. I mean, at this point, what game are we in?
Yeah, he's been.
We got 6. We're going to 6 games. Look, dude, you got to roll with the dudes that are going to be ready to play. This is a game that's very winnable for Nebraska. It's gonna be a 4-quarter game. The guys that you depend on are be the guys that are going to play. This isn't cupcake league, and you're giving free plays out. You got to earn it, and that's what Mickey's done. He's kind of put the pressure for guys to go out there and earn it every single day, which you should have been doing beforehand. So, I think the biggest thing with this team is get back to continuity, which is all 3 phases. Offensively, get some continuity at all 3 levels. Obviously, line, quarterback, running the ball, and those play call-ins, protections, and everything. Get that to mesh a little bit better. Continue to improve on defense and understanding this is a better team that we've played, kind of along the lines of like Indiana having some good players, but then also we got to make some plays, and that's what they've done. You know what I mean? They've made plays though. So, DP was talking about the point spread. You can watch this tape as you're scouting them and watching them, and then also you can gain confidence. Like just tell me these guys are 14 points better than us on offense versus our defense, or just if you get the whole team in there and doing it. So that's how you kind of maybe can rally around it. But I think as long as they approach it and come to work and understand this is going to be a game, this is going to be a tough game.
The thing about Purdue is they're so battle tested. I mean, they opened with Penn State. They took them down to the wire. Syracuse is a top 20 team, and they should have won that game. Syracuse is still undefeated, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're 5-0.
And they should have won that game. So this is a Purdue team that went to Minnesota and won as a dog. They went to Maryland and won as a dog. I think that number is about as much as how they have battle tested themselves all year
But
as well.
Look, they almost crapped the bed against Florida Atlantic at home. Like there were things in play. They got several breaks against Maryland. As the text line says, it's pretty well known amongst Purdue alumni like myself that Coach Braum is a jerk, and his personality is clearly carried over to some of his players. They have struggled in every one of their games with the personal fouls and unsportsmanlike conduct by players and coaches. Hopefully a lack of discipline is something we could take advantage of. Turn it into a physical brawl where emotional things happen.
I think the closer the game is, it plays to Nebraska's advantage. I think Purdue is going to probably take, with the, obviously new coach and everything like that, try to put you away early. So I think if Nebraska takes the mindset to bring it to Purdue and the longer it goes, it's going to favor Nebraska because Purdue's special teams is not very good. So if there's a chance to get a return, there's a chance to get a block, then the panic goes into Braum. If you watch Braum, when it gets tight, his play calling becomes suspect. The Minnesota game in particular, they didn't have their number 1 receiver and 2 best running backs. So that in that Minnesota game was kind of like a trap game for Minnesota right before the bye week, right after a huge statement victory after beating the brakes off of Michigan State. You have people of Minneapolis talking about like national championship, straight up. So that's a huge stretch for a team that wasn't even picked to win the West. It was
and then Mo Ibrahim didn't play.
Yeah, Potts didn't play. the law firm didn't play at receiver. He's out for the year. So that's a big transition in 1 week for them. And then here comes Purdue, and they kind of eked out a victory. So, look, they might be battle tested. They're a good team. I don't think it's like we're playing Ohio State and you're worried about them putting up 70. What we can't do is go in there and bust coverages, miss tackles. We can't continue to allow a team that doesn't rush the passer well in Purdue straight access to our quarterback.
I would like this game more if it was an 11 a.m. kick. I think that's a better time to go in there. At night, it's going to be a raucous atmosphere. The atmosphere is what worries you most to me about going in there.
Is that Purdue? Is that really how they get down?
It's sold out. And, I mean, it's going to be –
it's not the fan base that I would curl up my toes over.
Yeah, but they're going to be pretty lubed up.
Them engineers be drinking, DP.
They'd be drinking some Baltimore Zeus from Harry's all day.
Walking into West Lafayette with some fear in your chest. No, man, that's West Lafayette.
I think
y'all better come on.
They beat Ohio State there at night, though.
I don't care.
I think the crowd will be dictated by how Nebraska plays. If Nebraska comes out and plays steady, and whether in steady doesn't necessarily mean we're up 10-0. Steady is that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot and kind of just give them the game right away. I think we'll get that crowd.
Those third downs, though, when you play an 11 a.m. game and they're like, it's third down. I mean, it's loud, but when it's nighttime and it's third, I mean, the place is going nuts on those plays. And that's where Nebraska's got to not be affected by the noise in those situations.
I'm looking forward to it. Like I said,
Are you going?
I get a little more excited about it. No, I'm going to waive this one. I think, I hate to use the two words, but it's a winnable game. I fall firmly in line with that. And that's the expectation, but that's just me. Who am I? We'll toward the break. We'll come back. We will pat Sean Callahan on the back and thank him for his work today, and then we'll get into hour 2. But up here at Tanner's 30th and Yankee Hill till 6 o'clock.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
In today's day and age, people are trying to do more and more projects by themselves. That might be better on the wallet, but it can also lead to painful sounds like this. Ow! Poor guy, trying to do wiring all by himself. Let's have another listen. It's just not worth it. Don't hurt yourself or make things worse than they are already. For any of your electric needs, call Joe at Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sater and Jake Bakoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brent Excavate.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers. Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. For the folks in the building, we thank you for hanging out at Tanner's with us. They've got their, the burger special. They got the $5 20-ounce Blue Moon draft. Jake Sorensen is only allowed 2, just to keep him under control. See when there's Blue Moon and Jake's wearing tennis shoes, bad things happen. See, because he feels like he's more grounded, and I worry a little bit. You have until 6:00. The signed, autographed Johnny the Jet Rogers jersey is going home with somebody.
That is an item. I mean, that's a valuable item right there.
That's a win. That's a win-win. Like that, if there's Christmas, birthday presents coming up, anniversary, every reason, you put that in the box and everybody's happy.
Right.
Everybody's happy. So let's do that. Sean Callahan, let me ask you, what is the most important stat in Saturday's game?
Rushing offense, because without that, not much is going to go for Nebraska. I mean, Casey Thompson's going to get pressured more without the balance, and the defense could be on the field a lot longer without that. So I think they've got to figure out a semblance of a run game, and it's hard to put a number on it because when the quarterback doesn't run like Adrian Martinez, the rushing number in general is just going to be less. When Adrian was here, you'd get 200 a game without a problem because he would run. But Casey doesn't run like that. So, 150 is probably a good number still.
If Casey takes the 7 and 8 and slides, I'm thrilled because Purdue's linebackers part like the Red Sea.
Right.
Jay, what's the most important number to you?
third down percentage, both offense and defense. That's going to be huge. I think. That's huge every game, but I think especially for Nebraska's offense to be, maybe if you could get 5% higher than what you usually have in the season, that's a lot. That's really good. Then defensively, you want to do a really good job against them on third down, because then you're getting them off the field, and then you're giving your offense more chances of realistic scoring opportunities. And so, I think at third down percentage is huge. Now, that's with everything being equal, turnovers. Now, granted, if we go out there and have like 8 turnovers, we ain't going to win the game. But I'm just talking about that right there. If everything else is even, rushing and passing and all that, third down percentage is going to be huge, because I think the team that has more chances at, chopping wood at the tree is going to win. And so I think if Nebraska, I like the new way if it's simple, because I think it allows you to adjust faster, because your principles are kind of more clear. I want to see the defensive line come out and be authoritative in the sense of, we are going to dictate the pace of this game up front. And then it's going to allow everybody else to kind of play more freer. And then everything as far as coverage and responsibility is going to be a lot clearer. So, and that affects third down just as much as anything. The defensive line should be able to win this week, both, with the starters' depth, and if they run any type
and
of
Purdue's down on D line or O lineman right now.
Right, exactly.
They really only got about 6 guys they like.
Right.
So you can get after that group a little, because there are a few men down there.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. For things that if you want things lined up for you to be successful on the road, raucous environment, your pace setter, you want to see them not ooze into competition like we have, maybe last week, right? Let's go out and dictate something.
It's going to be, Sean, before we let you get out of here, man, give us a pick.
I'm going Purdue. I don't think they cover the 14, but I think at home they got a lot going for them. But, Nebraska, if they can protect Thompson and run the ball, they got a real good chance in this game. But they've got to get on the same page as an offense and what they want to be and what they want to do to make this work, because they got very fortunate last weekend, as we all know, to win, because the defense was able to stop the bleeding of that early surge. They can't have that happen again, because Purdue's a lot better than Rutgers.
It's going to be a good one. We appreciate you,
Hey,
brother.
thank you, DP.
Always a pleasure. That's Sean Callahan, Husker Online, second hour. Old School coming up live from Tanner's 30th and Yankee Hill.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In volleyball this week, on October 11th, Lincoln Northeast took a loss to Grand Island into the sweep. Lincoln North Star won its matchup against Lincoln Southeast in 4 sets, and Lincoln Pius X keeps its hot streak going by taking down Kearney in a sweep. Laney Brott led the Thunderbolts with 16 kills, while Addison Markowski had 40 assists. Lincoln Southwest went over Fremont in 3. Brinley Christensen led the Silverhawks with 11 kills. And Schuyler swept Lincoln Northwest. Switching to girls state golf, on Tuesday, Lincoln Southwest currently leads with 645 strokes. Lincoln East sits at second with 655. In high school football, on Thursday, Millard West will take on Lincoln Southwest, and Friday, Lincoln North Star will face Lincoln East. Both games will kick off at 7 p.m. and be covered right here on 93.7 The Ticket. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
Local businesses are excited to show you what they're made of at this year's Lincoln Expo, presented by the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. Stop by Pinnacle Bank Arena from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. on Wednesday, October 19th. More details at our website, lcoc.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Stone, and joining me in just a moment is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. But before I bring Andy on, I need to tell you about something that really got my attention. Just the other day, I saw on television Andy announcing that in the last 50 years, they had sold and serviced close to 100,000 vehicles.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, actually, the number would be a lot higher if we add in how many repeat customers we have for service and that come back to buy cars from us over and over and over again.
Now, Andy, tell everybody about your special offer.
Well, as most people know, always trade for vehicles, but now we're offering for people to come in and sell us their cars. We're ready to buy, bring it on in, whether it's a year old or a few years old, and we'll pay them cash that same day. It'll be hassle-free, and we'll do it the Honda of Lincoln way.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Warhorse Casino Lincoln is open, and guests are winning big already. Get in on the fun at Nebraska's first casino. Try your luck on your favorite slot machines and join the Warhorse Rewards program for exclusive offers. The best is yet to come as we continue to build a world-class experience for our guests. Right off Highway 77 and West Denton. You'll always leave feeling like a winner at Warhorse Casino Lincoln.
Must be 21 or older to enter. Proper ID is required. Gambling problem? 1-833-BET-OVER.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Anderson. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hour number 2, Old School. Down at Tanner's 30th and Yankee Hill. I'm DP. He is the Husker Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. I want to thank you guys for being on the video stream and comments. Jim Phillips, I want to shout you out. Colorado Husker, I want to shout you out. You guys have been active on it. We greatly appreciate it. You guys on the Sartor Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. John and Cortland, always good seeing you. Eric, yeah, you're right about Jake. That's absolutely true. We appreciate you guys just lining up and hanging out with us. Again, the Sartor Heyman live video stream is up, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter live. Jay Foreman, let them know about our sponsor, the Mercado.
Piedmontese certified Ingredients at 84th and Havelock. I'm going to go down there and get the tomahawk this weekend.
Fist bump.
Fist bump. 28 ounces. I got to try to finish.
You got to stretch. You got to stretch out.
Right?
Yeah, you got to.
I've been preparing all week for it, so I'm going down to get the tomahawk this weekend. So let them know I'm coming. I'm coming down there Thursday.
Hey, Jay.
Marinated on Friday.
Jay, can you call down to Mercado and get Jay Foreman 2 of the tomahawks? Well, I'm
going to do one. I just want one. Would you need one too?
Well, just for the battle of it, you got to stretch. I don't want to pull a hamstring or nothing trying to get this thing down. But, Jay, can you handle that for us, kind sir? Greatly appreciate it.
I got to let it marinate for a day, and then I'm going to see how I can fire it up on the grill. So I'm excited. Down to see down in Mercado, certified Piedmontese. Butcher shop and special ingredients.
Get down here. You have until 6 o'clock to get your name in the box. Somebody here will walk away with the signed Johnny the Jet Rogers Huskers jersey. All you got to do is put your name in the box. You have an hour. And whatever names are in the box at 5:55, we'll have a shot to take this jersey home. And again, if you've got somebody that's got a birthday, an anniversary, you want to think ahead for Christmas, a really cool gift that would go under the tree, something that looks great on the Husker den wall at home. It should be that easy. We've made it as easy as possible. Again, burger special, $8.99, half pound burger with a side, $5 20-ounce Blue Moon drafts. And again, we've set you up to walk out of here with this jersey. Jay, in talking to Sean, we got into a couple of spaces. For you, how much do you trust this team on a level of like 1 to 10, 10 being high?
I think it's two teams. I mean, I think the team before the transition is different than the one now. So I think I probably trust this team a little bit more, just because you can see. For me, I look at the energy of the team. I see more of a tangible energy of the team that's built. It's real. So I trust this team a little bit more. I think that they'll go and play well and they'll compete. I think they just got to go make some plays, and guys are going to have to step up. Or if you have, if Luke Reimer's hurt, then guys behind him got to play, or they got to adjust and maybe add some guys, there for a week or however many games. But I think Luke's a tough kid. He knows the system. He's well coached. He'll know how to perform around his, issues if he's able to play. And I think that as far as the, offense and special teams, I think, they just got to get back to the basics. I think, you can talk about protection and stuff. I think that's fine. Now you can say don't pass the ball. The thing that we have to do is just start at the very, very minimum. Block the guy that you're supposed to block, or at least attempt to block.
Or at least knowing who that guy is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Knowing who you need to block. Eliminate the continuous direct access to hit our quarterback in the offense and the vibe of offense, and whether you're worried about the protection, play calling, that changes immensely, and it changes very quickly. I think it was a game where Rutgers look like they did some stuff that I hadn't seen them do before, which caused some confusion, which probably, hurt their confidence. I think this is the most extensive playing time that Hunter Anthony has played. So that's a little bit of a transition. You got Ethan Piper in there that was kind of transitioning before because Williams got hurt. So, the continuity hasn't been able to be there up front. Now, that's obviously showed against Rutgers, but I think, another week, I think they'll play a lot better. So, and they should be wanting to go out there and play better and prove themselves, improve themselves as the line that had been taking, realistic steps of improvement for the first 5 games. And so nobody's immune to having a bad night. The only thing is when you have a bad night, your quarterback pays immensely in case he did. So, the best protection is to establish a run game. And it's a team that, you can, really crank it up and try to run against, and you need to. And, Purdue's good. Yeah, it's great. It's going to be playing at night. So what if, the fans are, tuned up a little bit, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be too tuned up. If you come out and you play steady and you play consistent, you're going to take them out of the game. Now, if you come out there and you start slow, Purdue starts fast, and next thing you know, you're already climbing way uphill and you're barely out of the first quarter. Is that Purdue doing it, or you not coming out ready to play? So as long as we come out with the energy and the effectiveness of coming out ready to play, we'll be just fine. And so, the frustrating thing about Nebraska is everything that they need to remedy, the things that, have hurt them early in the season and at times, say against Rutgers, is all fixable. The answers. Now the thing is you got to go about it and really, take care of business. And so it's another challenge. It's a great challenge for this team. It's a great, a test of the team. I don't think by no means is Rutgers, or not Rutgers, but is Purdue's offense or their roster anything that anybody needs to lose sleep over. But it does. By me saying that doesn't mean that they're not good players. Nebraska's got plenty of guys at skill positions, defense and offense, depth-wise, that can compete against those guys. And it's also a tremendous opportunity for the young guys to continue to establish themselves and make a name for themselves on this team. And that's how you remedy this whole kind of perceived notion that you're going to, Purdue and West Lafayette, Indiana, and it's going to be like, Club 54, at 2:00 at night in New York City. Look, yeah, they're going to be excited. They should be, right? It's a 6:30 game. They should be. But at the end of the day, the team across from you still has to play football. And so that's what we need to really focus on is playing football. And, yeah, it's going to be hard to communicate, but that's what practice is for. That's what you get a whole, kind of pre-game, seeing teams, you get to watch some football and you get to have a, kind of like an impromptu practice leading up to the game. You know what I'm saying? So I like, conversely different than Sean, I'd like for this team to be able to watch a little football, get the movement, get a little bit of nervous energy out of you. Maybe have like that last conversation or, meeting where you can make an adjustment or get something that much clarity that can pay dividends when you're out there, Saturday night. I like that for this team.
Well, maybe even watching a little bit more film.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, watching football.
Getting into a tendency, getting into some small thing that changes the thing.
Yeah.
Answering my own question, I thought the most important stat would be the first drive. The first drive to me is the tone setter, which lets me know that the preparation work happened and it worked.
Yeah, I mean,
because too many times with this team, I'm not sure what they went into the game trying to do.
Well, the first drive on offense has been pretty good this year, except for last week.
4 of 6.
Yeah, so the first drive, but you could go. Here's an example. Last year against Minnesota, they missed 2 passes. One by where the receiver didn't run the route hard enough. Another one was the pass was a little bit off based on a little bit of penetration. So you look at it, they went 3 and out. But realistically, it was nothing that Minnesota did. It's all Nebraska. So as long as they go out there and play steady, and you can have, look, this team is going to be jacked up if the defense is out there, right? Purdue, they might go 3 and out. But, as long as you're out there executing and they're out flying around, that's so be it. But you got to continue. This is a puncher's game, man. This is a game where, if you want an analogy, Purdue might be the closer thing to say of Muhammad Ali, where they're fancy. They're going to kind of do all the razzmatazz, right? Now, Muhammad Ali could get physical, but just, play along with me. We have to take a little bit more of a Joe Frazier type of mentality. We have got to chop you down systematically, physically, mentally, and spiritually chop you down. And, I would challenge the players, kind of like Shiano did. It was like, let's see how long you can withstand this heat that we could bring to you. And if you take that type of mentality, even if the receiver starting out the game, I always go back to when Buffalo played the Rams. Cooper Kupp was killing them. Mm-hmm. He looked like he was on the way to a 300-yard game, but they were continuously hitting him. Then those, little stop routes that were 8 or that were 16 or 8 yards turned into 16 yards in the first quarter were 8, and then only 1 more yard to 9. And that changed the tempo of the game. It changed the dynamic of the game. So I think Nebraska will be just fine. I think it's a challenge for the defense. I think you could look at it differently to motivate the team. What defense plays better is going to win this game.
I like
or
the
however
idea
however you want to do it.
That it's, to me, if it starts to look like a brawl in a closet, that means Nebraska has accepted the challenge.
Yeah,
like we're going to be physical. Being physical will allow them to be explosive later on.
Right. It's the systematic body punches that leads you to throw that haymaker or haymakers. If you look at the Rutgers game, if you want to look at the positive things, there's like, okay, you had guys on defense that have been struggling, make some plays. They were able to take the turnovers to turn it into that haymaker to get the lead of the game, then showed the maturity and the playmaking ability to continue to shut them down. And then when Nebraska needed to play like small ball and manage the clock and do all that stuff, they were actually able to line up and run the ball. So the gut punches or, the running plays and stuff like that earlier in the game paid off late. Now, ideally, you'd like it to start paying off in the first, second, third quarters, so Casey ain't getting his bell rung.
You saw something and you execute.
Right, but when it came down to it, we have got to close out this game. They were actually able to close it out. So those are the things I think you need to accentuate. Also, not forget and not rehab some of the things that you definitely didn't do well, because whether Turner's playing left tackle, left guard, center, punter, or whatever, at the end of the day, he's better than that, right? Everybody's better than that. So we need to just get back to, okay, in this protection, you have the first guy, you have number 3 or first guy inside. Running back has this. What's the call? What's the check off of the call? If there's any movement up front, pre-snap movement. You get to those things, that allows them to clear their mind, especially when you're in a hostile environment and you have to only communicate. Sometimes you communicate center, left, guard to the right because of the crowd noise. So in order to do that, you got to get back to the basics and welcome the challenge. And it's just I think they should be more than excited to go there. They have nothing to lose. Nobody thinks nobody gives you a chance, obviously, but you have a chance. You can beat this team. You should beat the team. And also you need a little bit of payback, because last year against Purdue was probably the worst game energy-wise Nebraska played. So I think it all kind of sets up for Nebraska to go play well.
I'm going to ask you to put on your Husker Hall of Fame linebacker hat and tell me about playing behind the big guys in the middle that currently exist for Nebraska. What can be done to help them be better at what they do?
Well, any linebacker wants clarity, and I think any defensive lineman wants a linebacker that's able to kind of lead him and communicate with him. So, I think, Ty and Colton Feast, I think that was probably Colton Feast's best complete game, first quarter to fourth quarter. I think you're seeing some more playmaking or plays being made by Ty. So I think that now what that does is that alleviates the pressure off of Nick and Luke, right? When your defensive line wasn't making a lot of plays early, the pressure and the onus went on. See, let's get up to the second level. Now they got to respect that. So I think it's a lot. They look a lot faster. So you seeing Nick and Luke playing faster, which they always, had the ability to. Now there's hopefully less confusion. And then I think the depth wise, when you have young guys, whether it was, Clements or, Ernest Hausman gets in there or anybody else they put in there, is going to allow them to kind of make a more seamless transition to be able to play. So in the depth, you see a lot more of Wynn, see more of Drew. Then, obviously you see Jamali Butler outside along with O'Shawn, obviously Caleb and Garrett. So now you're starting to see some depth, and you see just starting to see some rotation. You saw a little bit of Blaze Gunnarsson as well. So I think those guys are coming along, and the linebackers are leading the way. I think it was Luke and Nick's best game as a tandem this year, and that's what you want to see. They played good before, but I like the way they played off each other, like a steady and then a playmaker. And so I think they're doing well. I think a lot of the struggles, earlier weren't, you have to be there to really understand what's going on. And so I think they're ready to go, and I'm sure they're going to be highly motivated to get on that plane and go to Purdue.
So let's put you at linebacker, and let's talk to the guys that play behind you, because we know that Purdue, the route combinations are pretty extraordinary. They also like to run 2 and 3 tight ends at the linebackers to occupy safeties. What do you say to the guys behind you to get them ready for Purdue?
Oh, nothing deep and cheap. Let's make sure that we're a chatty, loud defense. We're gonna have plenty of ability to communicate, because their offense is going to be out. And let's look at their best players, and let's make sure that we are always aware of 87, and I think he's 15. Well, let's always be aware of where they're at. And then when they are at a position that is not normal where they reside, we have to have our, alarm going off that we have to make sure we know where they're at. Now they have more other capable players, but let's know where their playmakers are and let's handle those guys. And I think, the back end and the second level have to do a good job of communication if they are, passing off, receivers, or, if we're trying to get some jams on the other receivers. So, I mean, it's a team effort, it's a 3-level defense, where you kind of look at everybody individually, but collectively they got to be working together, communicating together, and hang in there together. Purdue's got some good players. They're going to make some plays. Let's make them earn everything. And then when we get a chance to make our play, let's make them and make them pay for it. That's what they did against Rutgers. I know Rutgers isn't, the offensive juggernaut, but they were able to do that against Indiana. They were able to do it, at Rutgers. It's not their fault that the Rutgers quarterback, threw them an interception or a catchable ball. It's their job or our job as a defense to make those plays. And we got to continue to make it hard on teams to, drive. Make it hard on teams to think that they can go and take a shot as soon as they get, over the 50 and get an explosive play, because of a, mental breakdown or conceptual breakdown. So, I think we're going to, I think they feel confident. I think they've been playing, better every week. And some of their players that needed to kind of play a little bit better, like Ty Robinson and stuff like that, that helps out this defense. It helps out the back end when you can get in. We saw Rutgers have 1 sack, 17 or whatever quarterback hits. That's just as important as sacks.
Yep.
Getting your body onto the quarterback, getting him off his spot, not taking his confidence from what he's able to do is just as big. And you're going to have chances against Aiden O'Connell. He's a good quarterback, and he can dice you up, right? But he will throw you some interceptions. Now
he threw 2 terrible ones against Maryland.
Right, and he will throw you some balls. So now we know that there. So we got to be patient. We don't have to say, okay, well, the game's tied or the game's close and we're going into halftime and, I got to, make a play or make the play because I think it's my time and I want to be selfish and I want to jump like, a quick little 5-yard out. Well, then he's up, Jones is up the sideline, and now here we go. Now you got the Purdue
sluggo to the house.
That Purdue, what is it, like a trainer thing goes off or whatever, and then they shoot. Do they shoot a cannon off?
Oh, can I tell you? I just recovered from Rutgers and their cannon.
Right. Oh, it was a Rutgers shoot the cannon.
Rutgers,
right.
They had a train sound and the cannon.
Well, they don't score much. They got to get all their little trinkets and toys out there. So
there was a little premature canonization there in Rutgers too. So
oops.
That's. Let me ask you about number 2. How can you line up? I'm going to put you in Caleb's spot. How can you line him up to make him the most effective against Purdue?
Well, I think the good thing, I like what they've done with Caleb. He's done a multitude of things. He's played outside. He's gotten a lot of pressures this year. So he's gotten a sack or 2. But you can have him on an obvious passing down. You can have him be kind of your spy or rover, late addition into the pass rush, which then you can change up your personnel. You got 3 linebackers, so now maybe they have a play or play calls for 3 linebackers. Well, Caleb can play behind the line of scrimmage. It kind of frees up some coverage ability for Luke and Nick and stuff like that. So you can use him in a multitude of ways. I think he's embraced the role of kind of being a jack of all trades. So I think, more of the same. And then you got, your guys that, expect to get to the pass rusher, which is Garrett and O'Shawn and Ty and Colton Feast and all those guys that, they need to get home and get some hits on them. I think rushing lanes is huge of getting O'Connell off of his spot. So even if you are running games and the games are meant to get him to move, now you're eliminating half the field that he can scan. When you let him sit back there, pat the ball, any quarterback, and let alone Aiden O'Connell is one of them, they'll eat you alive, man.
Yeah, it's again, all the pieces are there for Nebraska to have success. Execution is the thing, but we'll talk about that. I want to go to break. I want to also go to the bullpen.
Who's in there?
We've got a flamethrower.
Oh,
that we probably should put in the game.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can make that happen here next. Live at Tanner's.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben sandwich or the Prime Rib French dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Warhorse Casino Lincoln is open, and guests are winning big already. Get in on the fun at Nebraska's first casino. Try your luck on your favorite slot machines and join the Warhorse Rewards program for exclusive offers. The best is yet to come as we continue to build a world-class experience for our guests. Right off Highway 77 and West Denton. You'll always leave feeling like a winner at Warhorse Casino Lincoln.
Must be 21 or older to enter. Proper ID is required. Gambling problem? 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Your high school football coverage rolls on right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me this week from Seacrest Field for 2 games. On Thursday, we get our first look at Millard West as they travel to Lincoln to face off against Lincoln Southwest. The Silverhawks look to get their 7th win of the season on Thursday, which would be the most wins for Lincoln Southwest in a single season since 2018. On Friday at 7 p.m., it's Lincoln North Star and Lincoln East squaring off. The Spartans still have some work to do to solidify themselves in the playoffs, while the Gators are on the outside looking in. Make sure you tune in this Thursday and Friday for all your Week 8 high school football action right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs is starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Right. We are back with Old School out here at Tanner's and 30th and what?
Yankee Hill.
Yankee Hill. I'm blessed to be have Jabba Chamberlain in here, the flamethrower. It's perfect timing. It's a rain delay on a game, so we get to pick his brain. You know, Jabba obviously playing with the Houston Texans. You're an Astro fan, you know, just by, residence. You know, obviously Alvarez with the huge, home run to kind of walk it off. But just talk about, I always wanted to ask you, talk about what it's like, when that happens. I always ask why it happens. Like, obviously the pitcher was trying to throw some heat and that dude was, as fast as that thing was going to the plate, it came out. Take me through the process of how games end like that and how it can affect the rest of the series, because, probably being out in the outfield and, they had a 4-run lead, then you have 2, and they're like, oh, we got a good pitcher coming in, and next thing you know, everything's getting tightened up, and then you lose that way. Talk about how that can affect the team and what it's like.
I think just the game one in a 5-game series is huge. The game one winner wins the series 76% of the time since it's gone to 5 games. And I think it's so different too when you got a guy that's been a starter for most of his career.
Right, that's what I was going to ask you. And
comes out of the bullpen, and it's where in the beginning, you can give up a couple runs. They got to Verlander early, and we obviously seen the outcome. And I just think when you put a dude in a different dynamic, especially with that on the line in game one and understanding what it is, and they all knew what was going to happen. They knew Alvarez coming up and what he can do and how he can change the game with one swing. And obviously knowing Robbie Ray too, from that aspect, he's going to go in and challenge.
Right.
Well, that obviously didn't go well. And I think, like you said, it's game one is so big and so important. It changes the entire momentum. Does it change a little bit because they get a day off?
Right.
So you can kind of regroup? Yes, a little bit, but just winning game one is huge.
Yeah. And also I want to add, losing game one after essentially dominating the game for like 7, 8 innings.
Yeah.
How big is that? Whereas, the mental side of it when you're in the playoffs, because it seems like it's like 2 different games and it just changed so quickly.
I think it actually hurts a little bit more because now instead of being able to get back on the horse and like get right back after it the next day and have that, that short-term memory, now you've got to sit on that for a day. And now it's like, okay, we led the whole game. We literally dominate the whole game. I mean, you had Verlander and you had him on the ropes the entire game from the first pitch on until the end of the game. So I think this day off is probably going to hurt them more. It's going to help him, but it's just the momentum swing, and it may be like, okay, let's reset. Game one is done. Erase it. We're 0-0 right now. Let's focus on winning this one.
One thing I always talk about is like when Green Bay Packers won or they beat Pittsburgh, they were a wild card team and they went through the playoffs. They got hot towards the end of the season. You see a lot of teams, the best team throughout the season sometimes doesn't win the Super Bowl. The hot team does. Talk about baseball. What's better, to be the team that's, kind of had to work your way in and got hot, because you're kind of already in playoff mode, or would you rather be a team that say, like, for the last month, you're essentially already know that you were clinched a playoff berth or the division? What's more advantageous?
I think there's points to be proven on both sides. It's to have that momentum and get to that point to where it's like, okay, now you've found that groove. And like you said, not always the best team wins. It's the team that's playing the best at the time.
Right.
And I think what it does in the aspect of our sport compared to yours is, it's 200 games. People forget we play 40 games in spring training as well. And you play 162 games in 180 days. So it's like, okay, well, now you win the division. You've changed the dynamic of the playoffs because it used to be a 1-game play-in. Now it's a 3-game series.
Right.
So winning the division, now you get that extra 5 days to set up pitching, as to where the team that has to win the best of 3, now they have to use their guys. So now their pitching is a little different. But I feel like the people that continually get better as it progresses is the team that's going to win.
Right. I wanted to ask you because the Dodgers obviously are, major market team, and with it was a Craig Kimbrell. Obviously I always say that he's I know his thing it was when he got hurt, but I always say, man, he's going in the cookie jar, and he has this thing out there, and I know he struggled some. Talk about his mindset, or talk about the manager's mindset, because I think he's good enough. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is like you kind of let him work through it, right? Because he knows when you're really good as a closer. You know what you like. If I was managing you, I know you know what to do, right? You like, hey man, my release point on my fastball or whatever, I got to kind of work through it. And so with the Dodgers situation already kind of being ahead, you can kind of work with it. Talk about Craig Kimbrell and what he has to do to get back into that closer's role, to be the guy that can shut the door.
Well, what's going to be interesting is he was left off the ALDS roster.
Right.
So that being said, is what does he do? Does he cry over spilled milk, or is he try and figure out how to? Because at the end of the day, the dude number-wise is a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Like at the age of what he is, he had more saves than anybody.
Right.
And it's a confidence thing, but the hard part now being left off the roster is the only way to get better is to do it.
Do it, right.
And it's especially hard now to be put in a situation to where it's like, okay, you can bring up some taxi squad guys and I can throw to them in live BP, but the adrenaline of the situation and coming in and whether it's if he's closing or not, it's just getting him in those situations. And they've tried it, and it's it's a confidence thing, and he knows what he needs to do. And I think as athletes, when we know we're capable of it and you don't see the results, I think that's sometimes more frustrating because I've put the work in.
Right.
I've done it, and now it's just like I made one bad pitch, and it just gets magnified because you are struggling in that part of it. But it's just getting out there and doing it. It's reps, it's understanding, it's seeing schemes, it's understanding guys at the plate, seeing what they're trying to do. But it just happened to be in that situation.
In your opinion, two questions: who's the best pitcher in the game today?
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna ask you, man. I got to watch the game tonight. I got to see what's up, right? Who's the best pitcher in the game, and who should win the MVP?
Oh, let's go MVP first.
Right.
I think there's two aspects of. I think there's an MOP and an MVP. An MOP obviously is
outstanding player, right?
Is Ohtani,
right?
It's never been done before,
right?
That being said, everybody's going to say the same thing every year. Well, you're going to say it every time it happens. Well, yes, we can because it's never happened before. But most valuable in what it is 100% Judge, because you look at what he did. You look at a month where Stan was hurt, LeMahieu wasn't hitting. You had nobody,
right?
And he carried the team for a month,
right?
And where are they now?
Yeah,
they won game one.
Yeah,
and so valuable 100% is him. Not taking anything away from Ohtani.
Yeah,
what he's doing is crazy. The best pitcher, good night.
If you had to, here's a better question. If you had one game, World Series, this is the guy you bringing. Who is it? Who is it?
Oh,
because there's a lot of things that go into it. It's not just it's not just stats. Everybody, I want the guy with the strikeouts. It's the guy that in the big game, big moment will step up. And sometimes it might be the third or fourth guy, say to whatever, network's ranking. So who's the guy you go with?
Right now, if I'm going with one, I'm going with Jacob deGrom. Obviously his last 3 or 4 starts haven't been great, but when it comes down to it stuff-wise,
right?
The dude's 99 to 102, just filthy. He can dot. I would love to take Justin Verlander too. He had his best year and he's 39 years old. Then I would take Max Scherzer, and then just watching, it's like, okay, I forget about Clayton Kershaw. There's just so many guys. But to your point though, it's perfect. It's not necessarily the best numbers guy, but there's some people that just get it.
Like Madison Bumgarner. Come playoffs, lights out.
Yeah.
And I always wondered about that. Take me into the mind of when you were a starter. And, there's times, even like when I played linebacker, I knew like, oh, yeah, like I'm seeing and I'm reading stuff. So it's just kind of formality when I show up. Talk about the mindset when you know what, my stuff is on. Now, granted, you worked and you do all your work, but when you show up and these guys don't got a chance. Just talk about that mindset.
Yeah, it all starts with your routine and
Right.
just when you get up and when you get to the yard or you get in the locker room, it's like there's that feeling.
Right.
And you're like, okay, they got no shot today.
Right.
But then there's times where you feel like that.
And then it don't work.
And then it don't work out. And there's other times where I've thrown a bullpen to start the game.
Right.
And I'm like, don't start me. Go please go get somebody else. And next thing you know, I'm in the 7th inning. I've only given up 2 hits.
Right.
And so I think it's the dynamic of 2 things. It's like when you face a squad that you're like, okay, I know who to let beat me and I know who not to let beat me.
Right.
It's okay. I know what their strengths and weaknesses are, but you can never go away from yours.
Yeah.
And so I think it plays on each other. It's like, those days when you show up and it's that first inning, that first couple pitches, you're like, all right, y'all got no chance.
Right.
And then there's other times where you're like, I'm going to have to grind through this. This is going to be a grind. So let's see what we got.
Talk about how, obviously they were showing Dusty Baker a lot last night, and you got Dave Roberts and all the, Boone and all the great managers. Talk about how important it is manager-wise for when you get into playoffs and as you get deeper in the playoffs, because you have to have a pulse of the team, and sometimes you have to maybe give them a day off, you joke a little bit. Sometimes you need to push guys a little bit hard. Talk about how important that is.
I think this is when it comes into effect of the word manage is not only are you managing the game, you're managing dude's health, because there's, as you well know, and there's no off season anymore. Right. You maybe get a couple weeks where you let the body rest and do that. But it gets to that point where it's like, okay, do we DH this guy today, or does he play outfield, or is he playing first? And I think they're so in tune, and the managers in the playoffs now is just, they've been around long enough where it's understanding the way to get the most out of the guy at this point. Right. And, sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, don't show up till 4:30. Right. If you're here, it's a fine. Just to give them like, hey, let your mind go.
Right.
Once you get here, you can lock it in, but don't get here at 1:30. And then it's like, okay, you're in the video room for an hour. Then you're in the training room. Then you're back in the cage. It's like, just take your time. Don't get here. If you get here, and I've seen that work. I've seen it to where if like you get here before a certain time, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're out. Like, nope, here you go.
Here's one thing. I'll get you out on this. Talk about what you guys do in the always. I'm always fascinated by when they have the cameras in the bullpen, because you guys look like you guys have the best time ever. Because you guys are in your own little apartment. So take me into what it's like in the bullpen, because it seems like that'd be an awful fun place to play.
You know what?
Or just to hang out. You know what I mean?
I'm really good at flicking pumpkin seeds. I know that. I mean, there's the games that you play within each other. And just the things that you do, like who can fit the most amount of gum in their mouth, like before a certain inning. And it's like, certain guys and their quirks and whatever. And man, there've been more times that I've gone back into my locker and my clothes have been frozen. And you always check now, because you never know. Somebody might have thrown some red hot in your drawers or something.
Right. Yeah, that's an old school trick.
100%. But no, it's just, we all know the game sometimes gets mundane and boring. So we have fun out there. We try to keep it entertaining, and then usually about the 5th or 6th inning, we kind of calm it down.
Yeah, because one of you guys are going to.
One of us is going to go in. Yeah. But yeah, it's some of the stuff dudes do out there. You're just like, you'd never would have think of it. And the things that you get good at, like throwing seeds into a cup, and just games that you play. It's just, it's definitely a different breed in the bullpen. That's for sure.
And do you guys all kind of, when you guys on the road, hang out together? Or is it kind of?
Yeah, we called it drop and go.
Yeah,
is when you'd get there, you drop your luggage,
and then you guys take off.
Then you'd go eat. So
yeah,
and that's the one thing that people always ask. It's like, when you were done playing, what did you miss the most?
Right. Yeah, it was the locker room.
That was it. It's like, I don't miss the grind. I miss the dudes.
Yeah.
On the plane playing cards.
Yeah.
Dropping and going. Sometimes rain delays are the funnest time, playing cards and just chilling. So I think that's the biggest thing is just the camaraderie aspect of it.
Thanks, Java. You're always good on Wednesdays when we get together. So we're going to start doing this more often. We're going to go into a break, and then we're going to have the last segment of Old School out here at Tanner's. We're going to give away the Johnny the Jet Rogers jersey. He was lucky enough to get the early Christmas present. for their loved ones. So we'll be back in about, 5 minutes, right, Nate? Where's Nate?
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure, there is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, all makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's premier store for men. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment live from Tanner's. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, whether it be on the video stream, whether you're in the bar itself, whether you're on the app handling business. You guys have been active. We see how 50 deep on just on YouTube. They're hanging out. Jay Foreman. I want to thank Jobber Chamberlain for coming in and dropping some baseball knowledge with us. We appreciate all of that. It is time now to give away the signed Johnny the Jet Rogers jersey. I'm going to shake it up because I do not want anybody to say that there's preferential treatment or otherwise. And then we're going to have the Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman put his oversized hand into this box and create somebody's smile, make somebody's day. Jay Foreman.
All right, man. This is a lot of pressure here, dude. A lot of pressure.
You built for it. You're built for it.
Oh, man. Magic Mike Brown. Is Mike Brown in here?
Is Mike Brown in the room?
Paging Mike Brown.
If Mike Brown left, he is going to be
miserable. Mike Brown fumbled the bag. He ran the marathon and fumbled and tripped at the finish line.
Wow.
Mike Brown.
His friends are going to call him tomorrow and say, bruh, what were you doing?
Mike Brown jumped off sides in the victory kneel formation.
Oh, he pulled a Joe Pisarcik.
Yeah.
He fumbled it. Herb Edwards all the way in. All right, Jay Foreman.
We're going to another two.
We're going back in. Shake him up. Shake him. Hall of Famer.
Mike Brown looked like he put two in there, and then he just left.
He just left, man.
All right, here we
go.
John E. Hickson from Cortland, Nebraska.
Oh, that's John.
What?
That's John. He was
There's John E. Hickson.
He left.
He left too.
He left. That's Cortland John.
Two dudes. Come on, man. How you put your name in and lose?
He left.
Third time's a charm. All right, man.
You know.
Third time's the charm.
All right.
Jake Sorensen. Ted Tea Time Jurgens. Are you in here? Ted Jurgens.
That boy, Ted.
He was calling this
right
next.
Right. Well done. That's a great look. That's a great gift.
It's called staying power, Ted.
That's a great look.
Right place at the right time,
man. That's how you get it. You know, every time we come here, we give away a signed jersey. So, folks, you know, sometimes even after the postgame shows, after wins, we give away two. Like this has been a thing. And somebody walked out of here. Ted walks out of here with a signed Rogers jersey. Jay, 2 ball games tonight if the weather allows. Phillies and Braves. You got right against Schwarber. No, you got right pitching for the Phillies. They haven't figured out when the start time is going to be. Phillies win last night. Go up 1-0. Who you got tonight?
I got Atlanta tonight. They're in desperation mode, but I think they'll win. I think Jabba said the game should start about 6:05, so it should be hopefully teeing it up here pretty soon.
Okay. And then on the other coast, the Padres will walk Yu Darvish out to the bump to face the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw.
Oh, man, this thing is going to be like a 1-0 game for the ages.
Oh,
I'm going to pick the Dodgers just because of experience. I'm going to go with the Dodgers, but I think it's going to be a really good game.
Looking forward to it. I mean,
it's going to be a baseball purist game.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the new age baseball where it's going to be like 11-10, and they think that's good.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No,
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
I'm going to ask you before we leave, what am I supposed to do tomorrow night?
What do you mean?
The NFL put the Bears on against the Commanders, and I have just look, man.
That's a toilet bowl game, man.
Man, I'm just trying to understand what I'm supposed to do. Like, what am I supposed to do tomorrow?
Close your eyes and listen to it through your AirPods.
Like, I mean,
you do not want to watch that game.
I really
don't. You know what? I like Justin Fields. I think he's done a good job without having a receiver. I think it's actually probably going to be a decent game. Just a ton of penalties.
I'm just trying to understand.
I think Carson Wentz will play well.
Well, he's never lost to the Bears. Carson Wentz has never lost to the Bears.
Tomorrow, though.
Oh, I have zero questions about that. A couple of things in play. Louisiana at Marshall tonight. You got Wednesday night football.
I got Marshall. Louisiana lost their coach. He's down in Florida, so I'm going to go with Marshall.
And then tomorrow, Baylor travels to West Virginia.
Oof. That's a hard. I'm going to go with West Virginia, even though Baylor's the better team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what they're going to be. Temple at 2-3 travels down to Central Florida.
Oh, Central Florida going to beat the break. I mean, that's the Pee Wee. You shouldn't even be asking about them games, man.
Yeah, you have
the
to ask.
AAC is like the high school all-star games.
You have to.
And there's only one good team, and that's UCF, and everybody else is like garbage.
Oh, man. Hey, Jay Foreman, appreciate you, man. Job well done. Jake Sorensen, thank you for what you do each and every day, kind sir. Nathan Brennan, Hokie Royal Highness. That's what I'm calling now. Hokie Royal Highness.
Nate's going back. He's going back to the crib.
Yeah, he's got stuff to do. He's going back to Blacksburg. We want to thank the folks here at Tanner's, the folks for allowing us to sit with us this afternoon. Greatly appreciated. We'll do it again tomorrow. Barry Thompson, the coach, will join us tomorrow along with Kevin Meyer. Thursdays. We're out.